Alright, so I had to get my thoughts out on this Fantastic Four movie. I didn't want to go see it. I wasn't excited for it. In fact, I actually was against it. Never liked the Fantastic Four, never was excited for the Fantastic Four. Actually, I haven't seen the other Fantastic Four. So, at first I didn't think this was actually the fourth Fantastic Four movie. They don't count the one from 1994 for whatever reason, but this is the fourth Fantastic Four movie. And that was my biggest gripe walking in. I'm like, how are they really going to try to make Fantastic Four pop on the third movie? Because I didn't count the sequel of the Fantastic Four from 2005 as a thing. Interesting enough, the movies came out 2005, 2007, 2015, 2025. So there's actually a lot of fives in this Fantastic Four movie. So 1, 2, 3 movies. All right. So gibberish out the way. I went into this movie, just the hate just washed over me. I felt like being petty. I didn't feel like, oh, I want to give it a chance and let it just be this and that. I really went into this like really debaucherous was my attitude. I was really like, screw this thing. I didn't like it. It just felt contrived. I was pissed off from the last 5-6 years of Marvel just really trying to just push this shit down our throats. It really takes a lot of energy to hate. Contrary to popular belief, it's not easy just to be hateful, especially when you're in a good mood and you like shit. It really takes a lot out of me to hate. Like, I'm just looking at little shit. Like, well, why is this and why is that? It's just this movie just had an energy about it. Like who do you think you are type energy. Am I jealous of the Fantastic Four? Did I want to be one of the Fantastic Four? Is that my issue? I don't know. It's one of those things where it's irksome. For whatever reason, this movie drives irk through my soul. And after, stepping out of the theater, I can see why. I can see exactly why. Like, this movie is really coded. There's a lot of coded messages in this movie. A lot of coded messages in this movie. Like, what they want to do is they want to hide in plain sight. Like, if you look at the spiritual, if you just look at the plot of the movie, it works, right? They don't really try to weigh you down by giving you the origin of the Fantastic Four. They already understand that, just like the Superman movie, they understand that there's already a baked-in understanding at this point. Nobody's like, the Fantastic Four? I don't know who they are. Can you give me their origin story? Like, they at least have the wherewithal to not try to weigh you down through these tired origin stories anymore. So we've entered into a new phase where the storytelling doesn't have all of this baggage that it has to carry in the actual movie. Like, the movie can stand on its own and say, all right, you have some glossary understanding of who the Fantastic Four is. So we'll jump you in. We'll give you a little montage of how we got here and whatnot, just to give you some idea of the world that we're in. And for that, I can't hate on it for that. I can't hate on the movie for it at least trying to not slog us down with understanding who these characters are. right? The aesthetics of the movie are actually decent, right? I can appreciate this new aesthetic somewhat. It does speak to a period in America where people who look like me probably didn't have the best relationship with the stars of the movie. People who think like me, maybe not even people who look like me, because I'm sure there were some people who were those people, to not even be cruel. You're one of the good ones. And I'm sure there was a lot of the good ones who were around in that time. But for those on the outskirts, the true dark-hearted ones like me, they probably didn't have a good time with that period. Yup, 1960s, I knew it. So, this period in the 1960s, let me just say this movie is very subtly, but heavy-handedly for those who actually have eyes to see. It has a lot of racial undertones. Now, for the casual watcher, those who's just seeing the plot and the beat of the movie, the aesthetics, the characters, they're like, what are you talking about? What racial, what thing are we talking about? But if you really pay attention to the things that they're saying, there's a lot of clues that they're hinting at this being about race. The movie starts off with the family, the baby being born. You have this nuclear family. I guess you could even say the 4 elements. Not there yet. I haven't really dug into like the minutia of it, but you have these 4 elements, these 4, and there's a baby. That's how we started. There's the new birth. If we understand outside the realm of a movie, we understand that there's a certain demographic of people who are struggling to reproduce themselves. So, new life for them is very important. It's very, very important. I mean, new life for anyone would be important, but for those who are struggling to reproduce, it's very important for them, very big deal. So, we understand folks like Elon Musk are trying to go cosmically, they need to go into space. They go into space, and they're heralded by Galactus. They go to Galactus, and Galactus says, you know what? I used to be small like you. So Galactus represents many things. A larger population. It can reflect the higher mind. It's really an energy, this Galactus. It's an energy. And the energy that Galactus carries, and he says this in the film, is that of an eternal hunger. The eternal hunger. He's like, I've been at this for a while now. I've just been swallowing up planets because I just can't stop this hunger. And it's funny because I make all of this fasted. I have to put my own hunger in check from time to time, because if you just let it run wild, you're chewing up planets, you're eating, you're destroying planets. For those who are out of control, unchecked, they just keep consuming planets. And this has just been this cosmic story. If you understand, there's a race of people who aren't necessarily from this planet. There's an energy that goes from planet to planet, and what it does is it just consumes and consumes, and it runs away. We can see it on our neighboring planets. We see Venus with a runaway greenhouse effect. So consumption goes to the point where it balloons out the atmosphere and makes the planet unlivable. We have Mars, where it goes the other way, and it's in a sense is barren. All the energy has been sucked out of the planet. So we have on either side of Earth, we have two planets that have polar opposites. So us and the Earth are square in between two polarities. We have two polarities, one of excess and one of degradation. And that's the energy that Galactus, so to speak, is going to shift this planet, or wants to shift this planet into. It either wants to take it all away, or it wants to balloon it all up, consume it. If you understand lithium-ion batteries can become consumed to the point that they start to balloon up, and when they balloon up, they start to expand, just like Venus, balloon out. Not all batteries do that. Some batteries use up the juice to the point they just cannot hold the charge anymore, and they cease to function. So right there, we can see that phenomenon within technology that really consumes this planet. Battery technology, energy. So it can either expand or detract. Expand or detract. So Fantastic Four gets to this point where Galactus says, all right, look, I'm tired of having all this hunger. I just want to no longer have to consume these planets. And I know the child that you're carrying, this precious life, because we're struggling to survive. So this little baby that you have, I want this baby, because this baby will herald, it will bring forth the cosmic energy, the power cosmic, and take away this hunger that I have. And because the Fantastic Four, the nuclear family, is so starved, they need to bring new life. This is a big deal for them. They refuse to give up this baby. It's like, no, we're not giving up the baby. I don't care about this planet. I don't care about saving, I mean, I do care about saving the planet, but it's more important that I save my baby than save the entire population of this Earth. So they selfishly say, you know what? We'll pass, Galactus. We're not going to give you what you want. Your price is too high. Sorry. They go back to Earth. They don't lie. They don't say, oh, yeah, we defeated Galactus. We get the truth. And the people are like, of course, like, what the fuck? Really? Really? You're just not going to give up your baby? And of course the people are like crazed. They're like, yeah, you better give up that baby. But the Fantastic Four is not. They're not about to do all of that. No. No. Not our baby. So they devise a plan to say, you know what? We're going to move the planet somewhere else. They could just leave themselves, but then that would just be selfish. That would look really bad if they just said, all right, well, we'll leave. We have the technology. We'll just take off the planet. We'll move the planet. Which is crazy if you think about it. But, yeah. So if Galactus is this insatiable hunger, it represents this energy of the all-consuming race of people. Galactus represents just this insatiable, unchecked hunger, where we will either go to take everything because we cannot do anything but that. We'll destroy this planet. We don't care. I don't care. I just need to eat. And it wants to stop. And it will stop if you will cease to reproduce. That's the message. Galactus says, look, you give me your baby, and this insatiable hunger goes. So, in a sense, they're planting in the image that if this people, this nuclear family, which represents a certain particular race of people, this is beyond black and white, but this is race of people, if you stop reproducing, the hunger ends. That's what this movie is saying. We can put an end to all of this if you just stop reproducing. No more destroying of the planet. Just stop. Just stop. Stop reproducing. But they're not going to do it, of course. It would just be too easy if they said, all right, fine, cool. But they don't. And that's what this movie centers around. It centers around that refusal to stop reproducing. So we're in this dilemma where we have these people that say, well, of course we're not going to stop reproducing. Of course not. How could we do that? No. We'll figure out a way. We'll move heaven and earth to stop this being, but more so, we'll move heaven and earth just to keep doing what we're doing. They can't stop Galactus. That was never even a question to stop Galactus. That was never, ever a thing to destroy Galactus. You can't destroy the hunger. You just have to stop reproducing. That's a deep, deep message for like a fucking kids movie, if you think about it. That's a deep message. So the movie goes on, they get the whole world on board, so you know what, we're gonna do this crazy thing, we're gonna move the planet. Which is obscene because planets are in this rotation. You can't just park a planet next to a sun. It just doesn't work like that. You can't do that. I mean, of course it's fantasy, but like we're entrenched in like this cosmic energy from Jupiter, Neptune, Mars, Venus, Mercury. All of these planetary bodies affect what's happening here on planet Earth. That's what's happening with this Lionsgate portal that's opening up. That's why they got this movie out when they did, because they really want to at least put this message out there. They don't have to explicitly tell you what's going on. They just have to, you know, hey, we said it. If you just looked at it from this angle, you can see the message we're trying to give you. So they put this message out that they're going to try to move the planet, which is obscene. They try to do it, and of course it fails. The Silver Surfer girl, she wreaks havoc. She says, no, you can't do that. Because really, she's like the voice of reason, right? I think she needs to loosen up. She's a little too stiff for me, but yeah, she puts an end to that. No, you're not moving the planet, you idiots. And yeah, they have to find another way. So they find another way. They say, all right, well, if we can't move the planet, then we'll move Galactus. We'll dump this problem on some other galaxy, on some other universe. So they put the baby out as bait. Galactus comes down. Galactus touches down on Earth in water. That's a really big thing. It's birthed through water. Galactus comes in. It's like, all right, where's the baby? I'll go get the baby. They try to hold 1-2 punch. They blind him and try to move the baby like he's really like not this cosmic being that can see through everything. No. Yeah. I didn't think you would see the baby move, 400 feet to the left. Damn it. I thought you were dumb. They get the baby. Galactus goes and grabs the baby. He tries to escape. Once he tries to escape, then the Great Mother, Great Sue Storm, an old anecdote about a mother's energy when her baby is trapped. She's going to lift the entire car. And Sue Storm has enough power. She musters all of her energy to push Galactus into the portal. Takes everything out of her. She didn't really act it that well. It's a nitpick, but she pushes Galactus through the portal. He's like, fuck that, I'm coming back through this bitch. Don't you know who I am? And of course, Silver Surfer, she comes through. She says, you know what? I'm gonna take one for the team. This is all my fault anyway, technically. So I'll push him through the portal. So She pushes Galactus through the portal to another dimension. And then the movie ends. Oh, we got rid of that problem. Not us. Oof. And the movie, it ends with, end credit scene. I actually stayed to watch it. They had a little nod to The Origin of Species by Darwin, right? So they have a little nod to, that's Franklin Richards' favorite book, The Origin of Species. Wow, that's his favorite book. Mom says, no, I forget the book. I didn't even pay attention. I was so captivated by the fact that The Origin of Species was this 4-year-old's favorite book, right? Cosmic genius. He's like, oh yes, this theory of evolution. This is my shit. She flips to another book. Let's do something a little bit more fun. And then it ends with Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom comes and finds the baby. So, yeah, they set it up so we can have this new Avengers movie. If I'm not mistaken, it comes out next year. Maybe. I don't know. What's this next Doctor Doom movie? Doom Avengers. When is Doom Avengers, Doomsday Avengers movie come out? Okay, so it comes out next December. It's supposed to be a big thing. They want it to be the next thing. They're about to do the X-Men, the New Avengers, Thunderbolts. Oh, they're really setting this one up. And then they're going to have another Avengers movie. Marvel's really swinging for the fences. This has to land for them. So, yeah, this movie has so much in it. How long have I been talking? 26 minutes? It's a good enough time. Little nods, I realized, them having, this black woman is, the PR agent. Little scenes, like that scene where, I think it was during the montage where, Sue's trying to hide out from somebody who's looking for her. She goes invisible and the black woman has to cover for her. So she goes invisible. These are little things that they say, hey, we're invisible. We'll have these particular good ones. We'll have the good ones cover for us. We go out into space. The baby is born out in space by a black hole. They slingshot around the black hole. Baby launches back into Earth. The ship lands. The first face they show is that black woman. Right? And it's little scenes like that that really just open up. They also have the scene where they're talking about how their parents, Sue and Johnny's parents, are killed in a car accident, and then she's going on about some shit about if our father could have been there, and again they show a black woman, right? And then Sue, after she gives her life to save her baby, the baby is like, no, I don't want any of that. No, you're gonna give me my mother back. The baby goes, touches her, brings her back to life. What does she say when the baby brings her back to life? She says, he's not one of us, he's more, right? Right? And that can be interpreted in one or two ways. You can say, this baby is beyond what we are, but then we have, if we know history, we have this race of people called the Moors, right? Also, when they're on this talk show, when they're going to the talk show to wrap everything up and give a nice little press tour because they're essentially celebrities, the black woman comes again and says, hey, can you put the baby in this little jumper with the 5 on it? And they very clearly saying, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that at all. The baby is not a part of this Fantastic Four. So in so many ways, they're telling you this cosmic, power cosmic is not going to be what you see in front of you. Like, it's all like messed up in a way. Like, if you're really reading in between the lines. I think there was even a line where Reed says to the little baby, he's talking to the baby, he says something like, all fathers want their babies to look like them, but you know, I'm bigger than that. I don't need you to look like me. And the baby's like rubbing. It's just I don't know, like what they did to make it so the baby's like rubbing his hands together like a nigga. That is the craziest shit ever. Like the baby's like, yeah, all right, yeah, that's what's up. So maybe that's beyond what even the filmmakers put into the film. It's just these things, they rob with an energy. Like the people who make these movies, they don't have to have full conscious awareness of what they're doing, because they're working with these energies that are beyond what even their conscious mind is able to pick up on. They're puppets in a sense. Like Galactus, in a sense, is this fictional character, isn't necessarily a being, a human being. Like it has this form, a humanoid form, but Galactus isn't a human. This is an energy that Galactus is working with. So these little things, if you're able to pick up on them, you can see that these energies are steeped in these movies. So again, like the writers of the movies, they don't have to know like, oh yeah, I'm working towards this energy. They can literally just be like, oh yeah, I read the comics when I was a kid and I like these stories. Like, what is all that about? Like, why would you even be attracted to these stories in the first place? Like, what draws you in? These are energies that draw you in. So you need to understand that. You need to understand that these things are beyond our capabilities of consciously, like, for the average person. The average person isn't going to watch this. The average person isn't going to tune into this. Only very select people are able to tune into this message and understand what these movies represent. Like for millions and millions of people that just tune in, they're just like, okay, whatever. You say I did the thing. Like Fantastic Four says, all right, we go underground. We go underground. It's a very select few that are at the top who are controlling things. These are subtle messages that they put in front of you, but most people aren't there yet. There's very few people who understand. There's very few people who... So there's the forces who oppose each other. It's just a select few. Like, they control the masses. They control the masses, and that's how this goes. So you need to understand, like, if you feel a certain type of way, you feel a little bit racist. Like, I started this off talking about, well, it was just this video I watched, and it was talking about race realism. Because there's a group of people who have to make themselves unique. They have to see themselves as different. They're different. And they have to make it so, look, the energies that I rock with are not the energies you rock with. I'm on a whole different frequency than you. So it is my job to subjugate you. And these energies move in an ebb and flow pattern. Things go up, things come down. So you get certain people and they're just like, there's obviously differences between the races, but they have like this hate within them. I've seen it on both sides. This is not a judgment towards either side. Like me, I try as hard as I possibly can to stick in the middle point. I'm charged just by having a certain gender, by having a certain skin tone that's diametrically opposite to my gender opposite, my racial opposite. I don't want to have these things push me off and force me into polarity. I want to find that middle point. But that's dangerous to certain people, because once you go into that middle point, those who have stretched themselves to either side, they're going to feel that is dangerous because they cease to exist, because they force themselves to either be all the way this or all the way that. That happens naturally. Like, the universe has a centripetal force where everything is pushed out to the edges and it gets you to stick. So these cosmic forces of gravity and magnetism, like, the universe tries to spread you out, tries to stretch you out, Mr. Fantastic, Mrs. Fantastic. They want to stretch you to the outskirts, and it takes a concerted amount of effort to keep yourself grounded in the middle. So, yeah, that's my message. We have these fantastic 4 cardinal directions: north, east, south, west. News flash. We have these cardinal directions that wants to pull you up, down, left, and right. But how do you find that centerpiece? How do you find who you are? How do you find who you are, cosmic being? This is not time to wake up. This is not time to go to sleep. This is time to be aware of who you are, because you can have awareness in your dreams. You can have awareness when you are awake. In this realm we call reality. In this alternative realm we call dreams. There's an awareness on both sides. So what you're moving towards is awareness. You need to have awareness no matter what state you are in. Whether you're asleep, because you need sleep. Your little human body needs to rest. But even in you being in a restful state, you should have awareness no matter what. No matter what, always stay aware. They trick you by saying stay woke. No, I don't want to stay woke. I want to stay aware. When I have dreams, I don't want to fall asleep and let my conscious mind just do what it wants to do. I need to be aware. You need to be aware at all times. The world has a lot to show you.